right. Hello, we are back for our last episode of our Women Unveiled Priestess Initiation, Building the Foundation, a short series about a few of the topics that people might experience at your program, at your land.
Yes, welcome. So I'm Nathalie, and this is Andrea, and she's part of my team, and we're together. We're creating this information package to kind of share with you some of the concepts that are really important for the work that I do, and also I believe really important for a healthy community. Mm-hmm. So today the topic is Symbols of Sisterhood. What does sisterhood really mean? And I think it's a bit of a buzzword right now. We sure see it around a lot, kind of like self-care that we talked about last week. Sisterhood is another one of those. There's circles forming all over, and women trying to kind of invite others into these experiences of sisterhood. What does it mean to come together as sisters, as opposed to coming together as friends, as besties, as co-workers, whatever that looks like, right? What would the difference be? So I think there are some pretty foundational differences of sisterhood, and especially within a mystery school context. So when we create a circle and we start this program together and we come together and we start gathering in circle, we have a common intention that we set. So there's some sort of sacredness around why we come together. And maybe each woman is on some sort of path of change in her own life, wants to bring in something really different, really new, let go of something really toxic, whatever that might be in each woman's life. We kind of bring that and we create this foundational pillar, almost, if you will, of what brings us together. And it has to do with, our heart's desires. It has to do with healing the past, all of that. So as we proceed forward as a group of women, we hold that pillar of sacredness really tenderly, and we hold, and it holds a special place within our circle. And so things show up, right? And in any group, especially groups of women, there's going to be conflict, and there's going to be gossiping will take place, and there's going to be opportunities for overcoming challenges together as a group. And so we always refer back to that pillar. What brought us here together? What's really important right now?
Right.
Why are you here?
Yeah, the foundation can make it so that all those things, the vulnerable things, the sticky things can come up, right?
Exactly. And it creates this almost like a cauldron, right? It's like now we've got this cauldron that's burning on this fire. The fire of desire for each one of us is underneath that, right? And so the cauldron starts to get stirred up, and things our own shadows start to surface. I mean, it's a great analogy. Whatever your belief system is, a beautiful analogy of like actually stirring up all the ingredients of what it means to make up our inner world. So our shadows are in there, right? You got little goblins and little things that hide away. They're getting stirred up, especially in deep, intense experiences together. For sure, those dark little things are going to be stirred up, and they're sitting on this fire, right? And so the fire helps remind us that as a strong circle of women, we can actually step into the fire and deal with this together with courage. So if we're brave enough to go towards the fire and not back away from the fire and stay in the shadows, then we can really move through some big obstacles together as a group. And so it's like the very fabric of the weaving gets tighter every time there's a challenge and an obstacle.
Can you talk a bit more about the fire and like practically what that looks like?
Yeah, well, fire is a big element that we work with a lot, especially since, we do things like fire walking, and we do, sacred steams, and then there's an opportunity to sweat with some elders in this community. So fire as an element is deeply transformative. Fire is the kind of element where you go in and it kind of forces you to leave things behind, to shed the layers that just kind of burn away. And so practically what it looks like is if there's, if someone has been triggered or challenged by something that I've said, and they say that to me, you know, whatever my old patterns might be, to run away, to kind of ignore it. Maybe if I wait long enough, it'll go away. Like what, you know, those are all kind of the ways that I've been conditioned to deal with conflict. So if I were to actually step into the fire, I would actually move towards that other and say, you know, the fabric of what keeps us together, the love that I have for you is more important than all of that patterning going on in my subconscious mind right now. So I'm going to go right towards the fire and towards this conflict and face it in a really healthy way with clear communication. And we're going to talk about the ways that we felt hurt or abandoned or neglected or whatever that looks like.
Right.
And we're going to move through it. We're going to work through it.
You let yourself burn a little bit for transformation. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens. All those old patterns kind of start to dissolve when I'm facing it in a really different way. I'm going into it as opposed to returning to old ways.
And having people witness you in that process is pretty powerful, right? There's definitely an aspect of witnessing within the sisterhood as you create it in your circle.
Exactly. And we've seen it happen so many times, especially I think within our culture. We have a very a culture that doesn't like conflict very much, a kind of a highly avoiding culture of that's, you know, kind of like the Canadian culture, as opposed to maybe an American culture that would step into conflict a little bit easier. We tend to avoid it. And so when we have these situations where two women are going through a conflict and they're being witnessed and they work through all the sticky steps, all the discomfort to kind of get to the other side, then everybody in the circle can go, oh, okay, maybe conflict isn't a big scary thing. Yeah. Maybe I can be brave enough within myself to face what I need to face in my life.
Yeah, I think the stakes are pretty high to not address conflict, because I mean, in my experience, if I don't, I mean, conflict doesn't have to be yelling at each other, right? Or being rude. It can just be, like you said, kind of facing the fire and saying, this is my experience. I don't want it to be my experience. Maybe it can be different, right? But if you don't address it, my experience is that I just kind of slowly turn away from the person, right? Yeah. Or the experience or the thing, so that I don't have to deal with it. But that results in disconnection, right? So sounds like in sisterhood, the most important thing is the fabric of the connection, which holds people's authentic expression.
That's right.
And we do people a disservice when we shy away from conflict, I think.
I think so too. And I think we kind of recreate patterns of maybe not belonging, or, you know, we come up with some reason why that relationship was just not good enough. But then we're kind of recreating the same pattern. So I often say to women, you know, if you're in a current relationship you want to get out of because it's toxic, heal the toxicity first. Because wherever you go, you're going to bring that same kind of toxicity to it. It's like we don't change the foundation of how we do conflict until we change the foundation of how we do conflict. You know what I mean? So that's what this is about. This is about actually like going right into it and not running away from it.
Yeah, and I think that the difference, not every relationship in your life, you know, do you want to kind of stick out that toxicity? But the difference in a circle of sisterhood is that it's already a given that this is a safe space. We've already intended that this will be a safe space. And therefore the things that happen within the space are part of the process.
That's right. And everything, and I would even extrapolate on that, everything that happens in that circle is part of each woman's growth. Yeah, that's the beauty of coming together in a really sacred, intentional way, is that you're only going to get your mirrors. You're only going to get the obstacles that you're meant to face, which is really powerful.
Yeah, that's very cool, and something that people can experience, right? Coming up this September.
Yeah, we start our 10-month journey in September. One group of women, so this would be generation 7. There's been 6 groups of women travel through the mystery school together, and so one group of women will travel together over the 10-month period and go through these storms and go through their own kind of unraveling to discover where the gold is and the magnificence inside.
Yeah. So if you're looking for that fabric of intimacy within your life with a group of women that allows you to step into more authenticity for yourself and more connection, this is the type of opportunity that is for you. And it is a challenge, right? That's kind of part of the beauty of it, is that you're kind of going through the fire, as you said.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's where the very fabric of sisterhood really stands the test of time, is when you can go through those fires together, and then it becomes a solid place to land.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah, so come and join us in September.
Yeah. And if you have more questions about either the Priestess Initiation program or any of these topics that we've discussed over the last 6 videos, you can talk to Nathalie. We're going to have a live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, July 26th, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you have questions, please email them to Nathalie. I'll put the email up here. Mm-hmm. And she will kind of answer a few questions and answer any questions that you have, practical questions about the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even any questions about any of these videos, anything came up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'll fire them off to me.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot, actually. Yeah. And that's just a taste of kind of the wealth of knowledge and wisdom that you have and are going to be offering people.
A little preview.
Yeah, exactly. So like, share, and comment on these videos. There's 6 videos, so that's 6 chances to win a one-on-one session with Nathalie. If you're interested in what she does, there will be a soul exploration session, kind of bringing together all these topics that we've talked about: archetypes, soul care, sovereignty, the masculine, sisterhood, and 6 chances to win.
That's right. Thank you for joining us, and blessings to each one of you.
Yes, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Nathalie.
Thank you, Andrew.